in Bournemouth! My name's Peter John Cooper. Paul, don't you? I'm a poet, a playwright, and a resident of Bournemouth. I'm very big in the confectionery world. A little while ago, I was doing a gig in Slough. And the woman who was organising the event said, we've sent posters out to all the big factories in the town, but the chances of anyone coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, she said. Still, they came. When Paul asked me to do this, he said, do your funny stuff. And I realised when I looked, I don't actually have any funny stuff. But if you actually want to laugh at anything, don't mind me, because I won't be taking any notice of you whatsoever. And it might bring a little joy to Paul's otherwise dull life. I must ask you, do you love poetry? Do you love poetry? Yes? Do you love poetry?
Yes.
Do you love poetry?
Yes.
I hate poetry. I hate poetry when you've got something to say and you just can't remember what it is. I hate it when the word you know is in there and it just won't come out. I hate it when really serious lines come out as doggerel with funny rhymes. I hate it when no one will publish my work. I hate it when you get the absolute best line you've ever written and the workmen on the bus are more interested in the sun, the scrotes. I hate it when women on the wireless call it pear tree. I hate it when you work for days and days and days and all that comes out is as flat as a flat thing. I hate it when the cat comes and bothers me for stroking when I'm trying to write this down before I forget it because it came to me in a dream, and if I don't get it down, shut up, cat! I hate it when I'm not in any collections or anthologies. I hate it when editors want words changed in case it might go in a children's anthology. Well, they'd hear worse words if they came around here and saw me writing the bloody stuff. I hate other poets who have such a wonderful life, parading along the beach inspired by the wind. I hate other poets who get on the radio to read their windy poetry and call it poetry. I hate repeating myself because it makes me seem like an old fart. I hate repeating myself because I hate poets who put in line breaks just for the sake of it. I hate bad grammar because it confuses them who's what it's aimed at. I hate clever poets who write endless lines in Ottava Rhymer and Alexandrines. I hate it when there's no one to make me a cup of tea. I hate tea because you have to keep getting up to make it. I I hate tea because you go and watch the telly whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil, and before you know it, you've watched everything from the gap where Jeremy Kyle used to be to close down. I hate tea nearly as much as I hate poetry, which is saying something. What poetry is, after all, is just a bunch of words, meaningless, trivial noises we spew out of our mouths, incoherent with rage or stuttering and stammering with embarrassed nonsense. We embarrass ourselves with the words we use. Furthermore, before I've stirred, the worms are burrowing through my brain, the word worms at work again. The worms are boring through my skull, third form worms, free form words, eyes blurred, tongue furred, early bird, early worms, early words, coffee stirred, milk soured, sour curds, toast charred, butter hard, jam third. Must have words, heard the news, third world, global warming, poles melting, poles swarming, poles working, poles charming. Wired words, hurled words, hurtful words, truthful blurring, speakers blaring, cursing words, wounding words, warlike words, warring words, sparring words, wounded words, smoke curling, shrapnel whirling, spiral curled entry room wounds, worried words. Where is words? Fearful words, tearful words, buried words, words for worms, food for worms. Wherefore words? Roaster, toaster, Worcester, Bicester, Gloucester, Leicester, Loughborough, Lincoln, Welland, Warwick, Southwark, Paynton, Teignmouth, Knutsford, Newquay, Chubley, Guildford, Folkestone, Leighton, Buzzard, Fast, Forward, Focus, Bourne, Ruckus, burned out forward. Roasters, toasters, warm sauce from Worcester, Bisto, clusters, custard, pizzas, posters, listening, big cloth busters, make the pasta movement faster, video I see, TDM not me, audio I hear, stereo I feel. Worthless words, words worth a million words, prelude words, the word is father to the deed, little bleeder, Schubert leader, winterizer, none the wiser. Working words, shirking words, mocking words, M&S words, M&M words, S&M words, the words are boring in my ears, the worms are pouring from my mouth, woodworm gnawing through my skull, word worms, bird's eye maple, bird walnut, word worms, boring. Thank you. Things change. Things stay the same, they expand, they contract. They breathe in, they breathe out. Contract. What we knew yesterday, we forget today. Because yesterday no longer exists. You took your time, the shabby angel with the pitchfork says. We clamber down from the handcart, where it has trundled unceremoniously down the smooth, wide path that was lined so prettily with primroses and other colourful spring flowers, none of which we took much notice of on our mad, wild ride down. You all here? Continues the shabby gent with the farm implement. Yes, I think so, all of us. And you all arrived together? Well, Those people over there, oh, Americans. Yes, Americans, I think. They slid down in hand baskets. Makes no difference. Sniffs our meet and greet. Hand carts or hand baskets, you all end up in the same place. So, what is it actually like down here? Not so bad, apart from the stink of sulphur. If you couldn't afford heating topsides, you'll have no worries here. No electric or gas bills, food, healthcare, none of that matters, because one way or the other, we've got to keep you going for the rest of eternity. Criminal, I calls it. You lot coming down here, warming yourself. The likes of me doing all the work, all the pitchforking. Oh, put me back. Whilst you're living it up, dying it up, lingering it, I never quite got the words. Anyway, you're down here larking about in our hot springs. I can see you're looking gloomy. Oh, blimey, you ain't heard the half of it, mate. Once I finish this shift, I'm rotated on up there. Got to go and pick my way through the mess you've made. The rubbish, the lies, the dissimulation, the wreck of a civilization, several civilizations. You had it all. Bleeding waste. Criminal, I calls it. Bleeding criminal. No, all right. You don't have to. Yet, here is the irony. There is nothing we can do to actually plan for the future. It will arrive as it will, how it will, with no heed for how we have planned or mapped ways forward. What we saw before will not come again. All we have is uncertainty. Let me talking about uncertainty, about a town built on sand, Bournemouth. You can see what I did there? That was clever, town built on sand. Yeah, somebody, thank you. Right. In full view of the kids, she gets pushed down the stairs. The baby is thrown out the window. Even the policeman who helps is badly beaten and mauled by an unlicensed, savage family pet. But take away the domestic violence, the family trauma, the lack of basic child care, common decency, the baiting of a public servant, a crocodile allowed to run wild. What are you left with? Sausages. I don't deserve it. As someone said. Slightly down from that. Someone OD'd in the toilets by the path near me. The police, the neighbourhood watch, his family, all missed him. But what makes us, I think, we are part of the land. I've always thought this where I grew up. We live among the bones of the land, between the place where the surf has slashed sabre sharp through the turf, revealing the soft, chalky white flesh beneath. And where the surf has scratched and scoured at the soil to show the naked bones of the very under rock, and we cower among the ribs, huddled for warmth against the scalpel wind among the liver and the lights. Just as a hunter on the frozen tundra will slaughter her horse and, slashing its stomach, force her blood-drenched soul into its guts, into the warmth for succour. And yet, when the year and the wind turns, the skeleton dries in the sun and wind, and we can make such pretty things, carving pieces of bone for trinkets. Thank you. But in the end, which of us will leave a footprint deep enough to be seen in 50 million years' time, or 50, come to that? I am an humble Hammonite swimming in a warm Jurassic sea. When you sees me curled up tight, think only this of me. Us Hammonites are humble mollusks. We don't want to cause no waves, so we swims backwards through the sea by jet propulsion, a form of locomotion your lot didn't think of for another 64,999,930 odd years. Well, think of the energy such locomotion saves, although it does cause a bit of commotion and some confusion with the ladies of the species, what don't know whether they're coming or going. Well, ain't that just like women? However, which way they are swimming. It also means we don't see them scores and scores of ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs and all such bores. We close down tight when we takes fright at the first sight of them marauding molluscivores. I am an humble Hammonite. My shell is bright as hammerite. We has no need to scream and shout. We waves our tentacles about, what are arranged around our snout. Please don't confuse us with the belemnite, what are long and thin and not too bright. They change colour, generally flash and wage. They look an awful bleeding sight. In fact, they're just a piece of coprolite. If you'll excuse the Jurassic language. I was an humble Hammonite, but now I'm in a dusty drawer with shell of crystal calcite. There ain't no swimming anymore. My life is just as much a bore as it was 65 million years before. Thank you. We will never know the exact day and time the Chicxulub asteroid hit the Earth, and caused one of the great catastrophes in geological time. We know the other great catastrophes, the Great Dying, the Devonian, Permian, Triassic extinctions. Whatever the moment, it was a moment when everything shifted. The earth itself rocked. October the 31st, 1987. Does that mean anything to anybody? No, perhaps not. It should be burnt into our minds. We should have a minute's silence every year. It caused a seismic shift that affected every one of us in this room. It was not an accident, not an unintended consequence of an accident like Chernobyl, not the product of a war like Hiroshima or Nagasaki. It was the use of words, 7 words, the telling of a story, a fairy story, a piece of pulp fiction with absolutely no grounded in reality, but which changed the thinking of a generation, 2 generations. It changed everything. A piece of stupidity of mind-boggling proportions that left us all reeling. It was reported in all places, the pages of the Woman's Own magazine. Got it yet? No. Any guesses? No? It was the day that Margaret Thatcher said, "There is no such thing as society." She was saying, in effect, forget the whole of civilization as we have known it up to now. I wash my hands off you. You're on your own, mate. You're completely fudged. Take to your cabin in the woods with your shotgun and repel all comers. As a newspaper commented at the time, it's like saying there is no such thing as forests, woods or copses, merely trees, single and alone, standing buffeted by the winds on the windswept heath. And so it continues, as if with a wave of a magic wand, the conspiracy theorists, the Randists, the Scientologists, the bankers, the rhapsodists, the capitalists, the corrupt politicians, and other hoaxers and scammers are all clambering over one another like a pit of writhing vipers ready to sink their fangs into a cowed and cowering humanity. They see a world so maddened that it can be driven for their own ends, so that they can disseminate their own stories, the conspiracies, the year zero, the flat earthers, any weird belief system, the necessity of accumulation of money and stuff. The fairy stories spread, and we persist in spreading them. An algorithm creeps out from behind your screen. You like what you see? Eh? You like? I get you more. Lots more where that came from, eh? You like to see. What do you like to see? No? Don't bother with that other stuff. It's not suitable. It's not for you. I find you something else. Something you want. Kittens. Kittens with hats. Come with me over here. Look, kittens. And I find you something little bit stronger. little bit more, you know? Kittens and puppies. You like kittens and puppies, eh? Cheeky. I give you bunnies and hamsters and guinea pigs. They're very cheeky. They make you laugh. They make you feel good. They make you forget all other stuff. Somebody's quoted as saying, these people make us hate each other, and then we turn around and give them our money. It's all taken advantage of this flaw in your heart, the desire to fight with your neighbour. But you and I know in our hearts that we are not alone. We are part of a great interconnected network that joins together all our hopes and fears, our endeavours and failures. When we have reclaimed this society from the dustbin where Mrs. T threw it, we can build for the future. And what unites this network? What makes it real? Makes it more than just a theory? Words. The words we speak to each other, not driven by algorithms, but the inconsequential chat we have with a stranger at a bus stop, the strange brief encounters in the dentist waiting room. Words. Words we exchange with a homeless person on the cliff top. Words. Take them and use them as often and as much as possible. Say hi to the rough sleepers. Talk to politicians, people you don't have much with in common. Use your words to create the world anew. Somewhere here, there is a love story. If you look in the tilt of a face, in the dragging of a suitcase, this is a home place, a transitional space where things are and things are not yet. A time between that first look and the first kiss, a breathless grace in the homeward race between here and not here yet. This homeless place, a negative space, day for night, shot through with light flaring from the inside, where we are moved from looking to be looking at. And somewhere here, in this breathless place, in the tilt of a face, there is a love story.
It's a short one more.
It's a long one.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.